All right, everyone. My name's Chris. I'm a Counterfire member up in Manchester, and really grateful today to be joined by Darren in Bromley, who's a British gas worker who's currently on strike. Darren, cheers for coming along and doing this. I was wondering if you could just let us know a little bit about you and your history with British Gas, like how long you worked there and that kind of thing, and what you do.
Of course, yeah, thank you for letting me come on. I do apologise about the background noise. I think my little girl wants to join the debate. So I've been with British Gas 16 years. I joined as an apprentice. I've been through probably 5 or 6 contract changes and 4 or 5 different pension changes in that time. Like a lot of employees of British Gas, we think it's a job for life. And I fully expected to be here for the 40 years of service. What happened last year, right at the beginning of the pandemic in March, the company brought us all together and said it's going to be a tough year. We need to club together and work through the pandemic. So we arranged for different engineers to go into COVID secure houses. Anyone that had COVID, we still had a responsibility to give them heat or hot water. We then started doing food donations for the Trussell Trust. So the company got some great publicity from all that. But behind the scenes, our CEO and our MD were tearing up the 20,000 employees of British Gas, their terms and conditions. We found out about it in June. They contacted Unison, Unite and the GMB to say that they were going to look at modernising our terms and conditions. And what they meant by that is they want us to work longer hours, be more flexible, and actually less financial wins for the employees. For an engineer, my role, it would mean I'd have to work 156 extra hours a year, which is equivalent to a month's work for no extra money. I'd have to work longer hours, possibly more weekends, so less family time at home, less overtime rate, less retainers, so we get an uplift on a Sunday, not per hour, but we'd get a payment for a Sunday. That was going to be gone. Less holiday. It was a carte blanche, literally a whole new terms and conditions. But when they started that negotiations in June, they also filed a Section 188 notice, so potentially a fire rehire. If they didn't like the way that the negotiations were going, they would fire and rehire us all in April this year. So in December, the GMB balloted for industrial action to the members, and 86% of the members voted for industrial action on service and repair. We're hardest hit. So we started our strikes in January. We've extended it through every Friday, Saturday, Sunday and Monday in February. And we're now going to issue new dates for March. So it's a bit of a long answer there, so I do apologise.
No, that's great. Cheers for that. Fire and rehire, we've seen, so many employers try to use these tactics, especially in the last year or so during the pandemic. It's been reported that 1 in 10 workers have been fired and rehired in the last year. And it's quite outrageous, isn't it, really, that workers can be treated in that way. So just wondering, What do you think needs to be done to combat it? What's the best way of combating it?
It needs to be outlawed. The frustrating thing is they've all debated about it in Parliament. We've had Labour MPs saying it should be outlawed. It's a struggle with Conservatives. They brought it up the other day, and I think it was Jacob Rees-Mogg who said Lord Shaftesbury done a lot for workers. Well, when you've got to go back 150 years, when your party done something for workers, it's scraping the barrel. In my thinking, that would be the simplest, is outlaw it. Our fear is that a lot of companies will use this awful pandemic to fire and rehire all employees. We know Tesco's are now going to do it. BA obviously were going to do it. And that's the frustrating thing with British Gas, is if we were in BA's situation where planes were all on the ground, literally you weren't earning any money, we could kind of understand the rationale of possibly fire rehire or modernising terms and conditions. With Centrica, who own British Gas, we're making money. We made 29% increase in profits in the first 6 months of COVID. 229 million extra. We made 901 million pound profit the year before. So it's not a case that we're not making money. And I think that's what's really hard is the CEOs are doubling their wages. Our new CEO, Chris O'Shea, was on 300,000 pounds. He's now on over 700,000 pounds. It's a bit of a hard pill to swallow when your CEO's doing that, and then on the flip side, asking us to work a month's extra hours for nothing.
Yeah, cheers for that. Absolutely. And I mean, I think, could you tell us a little bit about what it's like being on strike and kind of what's the sentiment like on the picket line? Because I mean, it must be very hard for you and all the other workers that are out on strike, all your colleagues. You've lost a lot of pay. It's come just after Christmas. That must be really hard. But I guess it shows that the fact that the strikes are going on again from today shows that you've got a lot of resilience and you're not going to back down as well, doesn't it?
Yeah, it was a hard decision. Obviously, going on strike's the last thing anyone wants. I was amazed how many people actually thought we got paid to be on strike. For me personally, it's a hard decision. I sat down with my wife. We've got 2 young kids. My wife's a hairdresser, so she hasn't worked throughout lockdown. And homeschooling, everything like that, more pressure. Financially, the pressures of going on strike. But I can't work the hours. The work-life balance is hard enough. In the winter, we work a 45-hour week. And I have to do call-outs. So I want to say it's non-negotiable. It's got to be a negotiated outcome, but what they're putting to the table isn't palatable. So we made the decision as a family that I would go on strike. I'd be on the picket lines. I'm also a G&B trade union rep. So we've led from the front. This is the 17th day of industrial action. So it is hard. We had our pay packet, we've got a mortgage, we've got bills like everyone else, but we need to fight with what's right. And if that means come the 1st of April that I'm unemployed because I've been fired and rehired and there isn't a negotiated outcome, then at least I can hold my head up high and say we fought a good fight.
Yeah, absolutely, and it takes a lot to do what you guys are doing, so a lot of respect for that. I mean, you've been down on the picket line today, haven't you? What's the morale like there?
Yeah, I was down this morning. Crit was calling in sick up. If anyone's around, they're more than welcome to give us a toot. Morale's good. It was hard when it was snowing, but it was also jovial. I think it's more frustration. We've known the issues at British Gas locally from an engineer point of view. We're the ears to the ground. We see the customers day in, day out. We know there's a lot of problems, but the CEOs, unfortunately, are more worried about figures than actually fixing problems. And it's been a demise for years. They offshored call centres, which we all said, okay, you're going to save money, but that's the worst thing. That it's hard enough when we need to identify a part for a boiler or a cooker, trying to talk to someone that doesn't understand in England. When you've got an offshore call centre, the translation can get frustrating. Now, we're timed on jobs. That's out of our control, that. And on the new terms and conditions, we're going to get penalised on that. But the company just didn't seem to listen. We had a meeting yesterday, funny enough, and that onshore debate is actually going to be brought back. They're bringing back all stuff, which is great for the UK. It's more people employed. But it's that, how much does that cost? 4 years ago, we offshored everyone, made people redundant, and now we're bringing it all back. And it seems no one's held accountable for that. But yet I am held accountable personally for my day if I don't do enough jobs. So it's just a lot of frustration on the picket line with that. And to see where it's going. None of us want to leave on the 1st of April, but it's good that we're all standing shoulder to shoulder and all going for the common goal. We don't want to see the demise of British Gas. We don't want it to be like a Kodak moment. But on the same side, we kind of know what's best in regards to what they need to change rather than bean counting.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, just in terms of what kind of support you've got, I mean, what kind of support have you had for the strike or solidarity on the picket line or anything, messages of support? Has that been, has there been a lot of that, and has it helped you to kind of spur you all on as well?
It's been brilliant. We've had customers or members of the general public going to Tesco's, bringing down muffins, biscuits, cakes, even local residents to where we're picketing, bringing out teas and coffees. A couple of highlights: we had a London ambulance crew actually stop their ambulance by the picket line and hand deliver drinks, crisps and snacks with a printed out A4 saying the LAS support the GMB. They're all GMB members. That was a great highlight. Everyone tooting round the roundabout. It has, from the general public, it's been brilliant. The No Way O'Shea and the Stop the British Gas tweet has been going. And I think customers see it. Customers understand that it's not all about CEOs earning more, taking more bonuses. It's the employees, and they would rather see us stand up. From everyone I've spoken to, they'd rather see us stand up and fight for it. They pay a lot of money to have a British Gas engineer walk through their door. Chris O'Shea, who's our CEO, I'm sure he wouldn't be able to fix a boiler, so it's wrong for him to tell me how long I can spend in a job. So yeah, from the general public, touch wood so far, it's been great. We don't want to see our customers without heat and hot water. Last week, when it was -6 outside, that's the last thing we want to do. And it's one phone call from the company to take fire rehire off the table, and we'd all be back at work.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, what can people who are watching this do to support you and all your colleagues who are out on strike?
If you're a British Gas customer, write to British Gas. Loads of people have come to me and said, well, I'm going to cancel my contract. Obviously, we don't want that. We want write to British Gas, write to Chris O'Shea, Matthew Bateman, Rob Harris. They're the three kingpins that are holding us to ransom on this. If you can afford to donate to our strike fund, then you can donate to the GMB British Gas Strike Fund. Tweet No Way O'Shea or hashtag Stop the British Gas Fire. On social media, it's been really powerful. Obviously, being in COVID, we can go on the picket lines now, but right at the beginning we wasn't, so we've done a big social campaign. Yeah, show your support. Give if you've got engineers that are on strike near you, give them a toot. It does really make a difference in the freezing cold. And yeah, write to British Gas.
Nice one, cheers, and thanks a lot for taking the time to speak to us today. I think it's really important what you and all the other workers on strike are doing at British Gas, so you got our full solidarity and support there.
Thank you very much.